Hi, this is Dana with Flowers by Design. And how many times have you driven by a house to notice how small the wreath on their house was? Well, my opinion is be bold, be big, make a good impression. And today I am going to show you how to make this wreath. For this project, I used an 18-inch grapevine wreath. In orange, I have 3 stems of your ranunculus, or would that be ranunculi, and also 1 stem of daylily. In yellow, focal point, which is the dahlia, and a bush of yellow tulips. In white, 2 stems of daffodils. And in lavender purple, a bush of a perfume flower bush and 2 stems of stock. And finally, for the greenery, I've used a stem of fern leaves and a bush of wormwood. And I am not going to use any glue for this project, but I will need a pair of cutting pliers and a bunch of cable ties. So what I've done is I've already pre-cut most of the stems and fluffed them up too. And because this is going to be a swag type wreath, it will have 1 swag at the bottom and 1 swag at the top. I've used a series of 2 of each flower. So 2 swags. Actually, I will make, what you want to do is actually crisscross your pieces and then start bringing them from the end towards the center. And it's a really good idea to start with a longer and thinner piece to go at the end, because doing something that is actually bigger may not work. It's just not pleasing to the eye. So here we go. With the stock, 1 at each end, and then bringing in the tulips. I've cut a couple of different stems, and I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to do them diagonally just to give it some interest. So 1 tulip at the bottom of the swag, 1 tulip at the top of the swag. Here are the daffodils. I will do the same thing with the daffodils. 1 daffodil at the top, 1 at the bottom. And a couple of daylilies, which will be tied also in the middle. And I think these I will put in the middle. So it's almost like you have 2 little bouquets and they are kind of mirror image from each other. Because I don't like to work with a lot of material at the same time, I will tie these right now with a cable tie, and all you do is just slip the end of the cable tie and tie it together. And actually the other little swag will go on top. And yes, at this point you want to pick up the materials so that they have some life. Okay, so here comes the smaller swag, and basically it's the same principle. So it really doesn't matter now too much what the order of the flowers is, but doing the same reverse mirror, I will bring in all the other elements, and soon we will have a really pretty swag. So this can be done in any scale really. I'm using an 18-inch wreath, but if you have a 36-inch wreath or a 12-inch wreath, you basically have to do that proportionally. So once again, here are all of my materials, and I will take a cable tie and tie them together. You can also use wire. I just like using cable ties because then I don't have to be wrapping around the wire and all that. But wire is just fine. Or twine, or any type of wrapping, tying material you may have. Okay, and so now here's a little second swag, which will come right on top of the first swag, just like that. And we will tie it one more time. And finally put the focal flower in the middle, basically doing the same thing. Maybe cut the little tails at this point as they fly off. And here's a beautiful dahlia, which will go in the middle, and it will be tied once again with a cable tie. Now I will put together the little swag for the top. So I just finished making the little swag for the top, and use some of the same flowers that, actually all the same flowers that I use for the larger swag, but it's really on a smaller scale. So now the next thing I'm going to do is take the bigger swag, and with a longer cable tie, do the same thing, tie it right onto the wreath. Secure it. And then fluff, making sure that the swag actually conforms to the curvature of the wreath, and that the flowers are actually brought up just to give it dimension. Okay, and the little swag will go opposite the larger swag. And once again, it'll be tied up. Okay. One of the things that I really like to do before I design a wreath for a door is take into consideration the location of the handle of the door, especially when you're doing a wreath like this, which is a little bit asymmetrical, so that the bottom portion, or the heavier portion of the wreath, is actually opposite the handle. Actually, visually, it looks nicer than the other way around. So that's something that you may take into consideration. Once again, it's another one of those projects that are really easy to do, and I hope you enjoy them and get to create. And until next time, this is Jana with Flowers by Design.